Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So, another little garden update. I've done a video approximately 4 weeks ago when I showed you the weird thing that's been happening in my garden. And since then, obviously, I had some emails and the questions, and for some of you asking me to do an update what's currently happening in my garden. And of course, one of the questions, really popular question, was the weird tomatoes that I have growing outside with the little octopus tentacles. People asking whether I'm going to be growing those tomatoes on and keeping the seeds. And yes, absolutely so. I will be experimenting to see what's going to be happening with them next year. And some of you also suggested that I have emailed the RHS to ask them for an advice with a picture of the tomato to see what would have caused that potentially genetical disfigurement, whatever that reason might be. And unfortunately, well, fortunately, I have had the response, but unfortunately, they said unless I pay for the private membership, they won't be giving me any one-to-one advice. So we're going to be leaving this at that. So anyway, as you said, if you guys follow the channel, you would have watched the video I did 4 weeks ago when I talked about the eeriness and the weird things that have been happening with the nature above there, and the kind of the effect it's kind of had on the garden. And though they had some successful things, obviously some things weren't doing so well. So now 4 weeks on, and unfortunately things haven't kind of gone to plan as they normally do, and somewhat things got a bit worse. But again, at the same time, it's important to remember that we have had another heat wave here for a good few days. And unfortunately for me in my garden, I have been away for 4 days from my garden. So we had 35 degrees temperatures outside. As you can imagine, the greenhouse reached approximately 45 degrees. And yes, I've put the shading up here, I've put the shade in there to sort of trying to protect the plants from the heat. I had a neighbor that came around and watered the garden, but unfortunately the heat has taken toll on the things inside and of course on the things outside. So anyway, you wanted to have a look and see what's been happening in there. It is gone absolutely berserk. Okay, it's everything is so huge, so overgrown. And I blame myself for that because I just haven't had the time. As I said, I've been away, but generally I work, I do the YouTube, I have a child, and just things just kind of escaped. And somewhat, again, I just looked around, although it's very peaceful and it's really nice to see a lot of sort of things, flowers, you know, things gone to flower, gone to seed. I feel somewhat a little bit annoyed. The fact is that all this hard work is not seem to be paying up as much as I wanted it to. As you know, I've started a lot of seedlings on the inside, inside the house, sorry, approximately January, February. So you can imagine there's a long time gone into growing things, and unfortunately results are not perfect, but at least there are some things that are doing well. So I'm going to grab the camera, guys, I'm going to turn you around, I'm going to show you around, we're going to talk about certain things, I'm going to harvest certain things as well, because we have been, as we're going along, harvesting certain vegetables. So I'm going to show you that. But of course, please do bear in mind, I have not had the time to tidy up the garden, to weed the garden, or to prune the garden. It is crazy. It is kind of pretty, but it is a little bit out of control. So let's go. So as usual, we're going to start with the first greenhouse I'm started to film. You can see, right, the tomatoes. You can see I have a lot of them started to go red, which is good. They are obviously need some watering again because it has been still very, very hot. But as you can see, we have a fairly good amount of fruit that is ripening, which I will be harvesting later on. We'll have a look. We'll have a weigh up. I've got a few there. They're bearing up under the weight of all this. Again, I haven't been here to stake them up a bit more. I need to prune them. Some of them are drying out, but unfortunately for some of them is the end, because the flowers have dried on the edges because of the I wasn't here to basically water them, and this is what happens. A little bit disappointing, but again, this is kind of my own fault. Peppers, right, I still got some peppers here, which is good. They're looking, I think, okay. They're not the hugest ones yet, but I don't think they're ready. Some more lovely tomatoes there, and we now have a few cucumbers that again need to be harvested, because what happens if you don't harvest cucumbers when they are fairly small? Obviously all the energy goes into feeding them and the little ones don't. So I will be harvesting the little cucumbers today. You can see I've got beautiful ones growing in here. Again, the leaves need pruning, and I've got another one there and the one at the bottom. So a few cucumbers. As I said, we already had a couple from that. They're kind of just taken over the tomatoes, but to be fair, I'm at this stage now, I'm like, I'm just going to let them do what they want to do, because I just seem to not to have the time right now. Oh, another one hiding there, look. So, right, let's have a look at the number 2. I know, hold on. So this was my backup courgettes. again, haven't got planted out on time. Might still do this. And my backup cucumbers, which I'll probably put on the outside. Carrots here, you can see they are pretty much, well, they are ready for baby carrots anyway. And peas, my little one been eating some. They're going to be now harvested for, you can see, for the dry peas. Here we go. Right, so they'll be dealt with later on. Right, this greenhouse is absolute nightmare as well, but tomatoes, again, they're nice, tasty little tomatoes, or big ones in fact. You've got nice beefsteak tomato here. I can't remember the variety of those ones. I've got here, again, some more Tommies. Cucumbers that needs severe pruning. You can see the heat did take the toll. But nonetheless, we've still got a few little cucumbers coming. This one is not doing as well, apart from this one here. I've got a couple, and I've got Baba one there. And you can see, look, they're just dying off. So my little peppers, the dwarf peppers, that looks like to me it's ready, which is okay. But everything else, it's unfortunately been heat damaged. It's still, obviously, I've just watered that. They need time to come back to it. But a few chilies there. Look, I've got yellow chili, the green one here. So it's, yeah, it's just, it is what it is in this instance. Hi. Say hi. Right, let's now have a look outside. Look at that. Right, this is a bit crazy. Right, so, funnily enough, I have the artichoke that I thought snuffed it, actually grown. It's very small, very young, but this is the tomatoes. Right, this is my genetically damaged tomatoes. Look at that. Hold on. Right, so, just, yeah, weird. Here they are, starting to ripen up a bit. There's no more flowers on that for now, I think. There's 2 tomato plants, I don't think. Yeah, there's nothing on that apart from them. So it is what it is. So my dill is going to, obviously, to flower. That's fine. I've got some pollinators about, so I'll leave it for now, and then I'll harvest them to dry them for my pickles. And they are just shot up. But I had some radishes in there, and that's, well, okay. They're just not. They got overcrowded. This seems to be the problem right now, but nothing else really, apart from flowers, which are doing good. Everything else is going to seed in terms of vegetables. So right, this is the middle bed, and this tomato here is just going berserk. It's crazy. I've been supporting this, I've been tying this up, but it's keep growing. Got nice sized Tommies there. Got some slightly red ones there. Again, it does need a lot of taking leaves out and pruning out. As you can see, again, issue here I had that got snapped. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be getting any more of the flowers, but it's, yeah. My apples, they're getting there. Right, some more tomatoes. So they'll be harvested soon. And I've got some more over there. Okay, so this is what that looks like. This is my little apple bed. Right, strawberries are dead. Totally my fault. Dead. Yeah, that's not happening. Potatoes. So, potatoes are growing. I have a big bed of potatoes in the front garden. That looks like they are be ready to harvested. But look at those. This is my tomatoes. This is unruly, but they are kind of supported. They're doing well. I can't remember. I think they may be Sweet Million. I can't remember what they were. But they're not, I've got a few red ones there. Got loads of green ones still, sort of hiding in there. It's just, they're just doing what they want to do, but they're loving it. They actually loving this. They're massive. Rockets, this is a pathway, but I've got tons of rockets, so this is one thing that is doing well. Right, let's have a look on the other side. So this is the opposite side of my apple bed. Right, this is the marigold, right? You can see it is approximately 1/2 meter tall. It is strived for light because of the coriander here, which is going to seed. I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to leave this there for whoever, whatever pollinators are about. I'm going to leave it for them there for now. It's a bit messy, but they're there. Oh, Bumble. Hello, Bum. How'd it work? Haven't seen you for a while. Here's another bee. Right, okay, so this is my other tomatoes. The ones that are meant to be grown up and they're not. They're yellowed, dried, but if we have a look, that's what a beautiful, beautiful looking tomato. Got a few there. A lot of them are starting to go red, so I will be getting them before they get too soft. And this is the crazy, crazy bed. Again, this is my own fault. This was total experiment. And look at that. I know it's busy, some of you might say it's really bad, but everything here seems to be rather happy. Right, so this is my pumpkins, the self-seeded kind, I must say. It's trailed all the way, and look, I've got pumpkins. There's 3 pumpkins there. They're like just, yeah, they're huge. You've got bees in there, they're loving that. Here we go. Right, so what we'll be harvesting today, excuse me, I've got some onions here that are, this is little one, but it needs to come out because, well, they're shaded by the pumpkins. Nothing to do with that. Let's show you here. Right, so more onions. You can see it. Okay, they need to be pulled out and dried. Some beetroot. There's some small beetroots there. It's kind of, you can see, it's kind of growing. Some more onion, tomatoes. A weird looking tomato that's still growing. Oh, there's actually first tomato in that, a baby one. Right, aubergines are totally crowded up by tomato, but there's some flowers there. So, right, this is that side. This is the other side where the tomatoes are. You can see they are absolutely huge. They're almost height of me. Right, so here again, it's another pumpkin. Oh, and another bumble. Oh, look. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. He's having a munch. Upside down. Right, anyway. So my peas here. I've got some purple podded peas. They're coming along. There's quite a few of them there. Normal peas, and I've got some courgettes that I can't even reach now because they are there amongst potatoes and God knows what. So this was my carrots that got totally dried, but we have harvested some. They are quite tasty. Let's just pull some out. They're little ones, baby carrots. Look at that. Here we are. That's quite a good sized carrot, considering they're grown in a little trough. So they're okay. So I will be getting a few of them later on. So this is my small bed of onions. Again, you can see, look, they are ready to go. So I'll be getting them out. It's a fairly biggish one. Here we go. Onions there. So all of them, I have to be coming out. I have to go put something else on the bed there. So tomatoes there, you can see, obviously I had an issue. Some leaves are dying back. I'm not sure what it is. It's not blight because they look like they're jellied. Looks like they've been frostbitten, which is a bit strange. But the fact is there are still some tomatoes in here. And I've got a borage here that just appeared by itself. But there we are. Right, broad beans. I haven't harvested them then. I really have to do this. They're looking done really. But right, plum tree. I've showed you that, guys, last time. And I had these things on the plum tree. And somebody said, why am I losing focus? Somebody said there's some sort of bugs in them or something, which is a bit shame because they all seem to be infected. I don't know, it's really shame because there's tons of them. This odd one that looks maybe okay, like here. but generally they're all a bit messed up. But we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen afterwards. Right, apple tree. This one is doing okay. I've got some bigger apples up the above the tank. They soon will be ready. They're not huge ones. They'll be ready soon. This is totally had it because of the heat. And runner beans, yeah, they're growing a little bit. Nothing amazing there. And of course the berries, I've missed the boat a bit. I harvested the gooseberries. I had about 4 kilos altogether from the bush. And then I have the black currants that are unfortunately totally dried out. I've got about half a kilo that I did the other day, but generally they pretty much had this. I let birds now eat them. I got the mesh off. And of course we've got some French beans up there. They're looking rather large low bins. And this is my tomatoes. They've been put in the shade whilst we're away. You can see, obviously they are, leaves are dried, they had it, but look at the amount of tomatoes we have here. There's loads and loads of yellow ones. It's funnily enough not a single red, because I've planted 2, red variety and yellow, and yellows are doing good, well, and red ones don't exist. But nonetheless, I'll be harvesting them, and the plant had it now. It just literally just let the other ones ripen and then leave them at that. So let me just grab a bowl and we harvest some tomatoes. So we're gonna start with this one. We've got double tomato. That's really, really strange. I'm gonna do this single-handedly, I'm afraid, because I have to film that. But look at that. That's a pretty funky looking tomato. So they're still okay, but they've still got a little bit to go. This one looks like he's ready. Again, normally I would use the little clippers to get them, but this is rather soft. But it's a good little tomato. Right, let's go here. They are Italian. I can't remember what they were called, but they got pretty much no seeds in that. I leave them another day or so, and I think there's a good one here. Let's get him up. Here we go. That came off nice and easy. Here we are, look. Right, let's get cucumbers out. So, because the plant's going to struggle. Get you out. Look at that chunky monkey. We've got the bottom. We're going to be having a nice salad today. This one. So now hopefully all the big ones are out. Oh, another one there. Let's put that down. The tomato can cucumber can concentrate on producing some more. Look at them. Lovely. So greenhouse number 2, right, they are ready. Super soft, actually overripe to be fair. But as I said, I wasn't here, so get them out. Come on. Okay. A red one over there. I'll get this one off. Okay, and let's now go and have a look outside. Okay, we're going to start with those ones here, because they're the first ones. Super soft. And the bubble one there. I got So there we are, guys. Right, a bowl full. Feels like a good 3, maybe a little bit more in terms of the kgs. But yeah, I'll leave some of the tomatoes on the vine, of course. The idea is we're trying to sort of eat them on a daily basis whilst they're fresh. But of course, we don't want to leave them overripened because it's just not going to be good. But this is enough to make a couple of days worth of nice fresh tomato mozzarella salad. And then cucumber with a yogurt dip, maybe served with some nice chicken, something like that. But anyway, this is what it is, right? I still got a few of them growing. It's okay. As I said, a little bit disappointing, but as I always tell you guys, as a prepper, I always trying to be positive. I know sometimes it's really hard, especially in times like this, but I've got some extra cucumber plants there that are looking very, very healthy. So my aim is within the next week or so, if the weather stays, I'm going to be planting them probably in the greenhouse. I might take some of the tomato plants out. I have a closer inspection, see what's happening to some of them. If some of them need to come out altogether, I'll take them out and I'll plant the cucumbers in here, hopefully to prolong the harvest a little bit. The idea is, of course, for the prepper's pantry, I want to be able to have enough cucumber to make some pickles or some relish. And of course, if potentially, if possible, to maybe freeze some tomatoes for a pasta sauce, or actually make pasta sauce like I did last year. So we'll see how this season will go. But anyway, guys, we'll hopefully have enjoyed this video. Please, obviously, yeah, share your experiences, guys. How's your garden recovered from the really bad start and a heat wave? I know it's been hard for really everybody, and it does get somewhat a bit depressing with the things that are happening and with the weather and, you know, whatever stuff is happening up there. But at the end of the day, we've got to do the best that we can do. This is the whole idea of this channel, is a preparedness channel, is trying to encourage people to do the best we can do in spite of what's currently happening or being done to us. So there we are, guys. I'm going to stop chatting now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe if not a subscriber, and I shall see you soon. Bye-bye.